Hi guys, I hope everyone's having a beautiful, fabulous day. I'm super excited to be able to share with you guys 5 tips that I have for starting Accutane. My journey's been really long so far. I've had a lot of ups and downs and just crazy things that have been happening in our world in general at this time. But I'm really excited to finally be able to share with you guys 5 tips that I have for starting Accutane. And I also wrote a blog post about it. I will make sure to link that below so that you guys could read additional information that I have there. So make sure to check that out, subscribe to my channel. And before I get started, I just want a quick disclaimer, like everyone always puts out there, but I really feel in my heart that I must say this. This is the plan that my doctor put me on. So this is after we kind of gone through everything, talked about my whole situation, what we wanted to do, what would be best for me. So please don't compare what your doctor might put you on Accutane to what the amount of milligrams that my doctor has put me on. It's really going to vary. Everyone's different. Your body's different than my body. It's what makes us special, but also don't compare yourself to me, please. And yeah, let's get started. First, talking a little bit about myself and my acne journey. So I was on birth control for, I want to say like 10 years. I started birth control when I was 15 years old, when I first started to get acne on my face. So that was kind of the first thing that the doctors always prescribe, I feel like, is birth control, just because they know, right, that it's usually hormone related. So that's the first thing that they do is put you on birth control. So me being 15, I was like, yeah, sign me up, like anything to help me out, right? So I was on birth control for years, and finally a couple years ago, I decided that I wanted to stop. I didn't want to continue having this hormonal pill being put into my body every single day. I made the decision to stop. Then it all just kind of went downhill from there. And all of a sudden, I was having breakouts like crazy. And it wasn't just like surface breakouts, like little pimples here or there. It was like deep cysts were forming underneath my skin. Most of the time you wouldn't even be able to see it. I just felt it. Like it would hurt to smile. Sometimes they would come around my eyes, and that was just super painful. My forehead, or like my back, just anywhere and everywhere. I didn't know what to do. I was scared out of my mind because I'd never had to deal with this before. And that's when I started to go crazy, right? First thing that you do is start to try to find all of the like remedies that you can find online. So I was searching online like crazy. What can I do? What can I do? I'm like in my 20s now. Like this shouldn't be something that I continue to have to deal with. So I started to change my diet. I changed my entire skincare routine. I was like going crazy, buying things, anything, everything that was on the market, cheap, expensive, all of the natural home remedies that you could find, I was doing them, right? Because anything that would help me with this, because not only was it a physical sort of problem for me, it was also something really emotionally draining for me, because in the beginning it was fine, right? I was like, oh, put a little makeup on that, you'll be fine. But then it was like every single day having to put more makeup on, and then I had to deal with the issue of like caking makeup. And then what about those days that I just didn't want to wear makeup? Like that wasn't a possibility for me anymore. I was having to always apply layers and layers and layers of foundation on my face, and it got to the point where even that wasn't helping me at all. I felt like every single day that passed, my skin was just getting worse and worse. So finally, without beating around the bush, I made an appointment and went to go see my dermatologist. So that brings me into tip number 1, go see a doctor. It's really not worth it to wait it out, to wait and see, hopefully my skin will fix itself. You know, sometimes it will. Sometimes you're lucky and, you know, acne is just like a cyclical thing for you, and it could just be something that happened. You were super stressed out. there was a problem and all of a sudden you started to break out, or you know, it could be multiple things. You could have been allergic to something, whatever, something could have caused it. It could be like a stomach issue for you. There's a whole bunch of things. But really, if it's starting to become a long-term issue for you, I recommend just go see a dermatologist. I was in denial for the longest time, right? Like I was like, no, my face will fix itself. I'm 20 something years old. This shouldn't be happening to me anymore. My face maybe just needs time to adjust to this chemical imbalance, right? Because I went off birth control, so it'll fix itself. But in hindsight, I should have just gone from the very beginning. Even just talked to my doctor before I went off of birth control, so that at least there was a conversation there, and then I would be able to go back and say, this happened, fortunately it's not going away, help me. And keep in mind that you're gonna have to see a dermatologist eventually anyway if you're gonna go on Accutane. So the sooner you get in, talk to someone, go through everything, just see a doctor. Really, they're dermatologists, they studied this, they'll know if it's something that maybe another treatment could fix. So just go see a dermatologist, stop living in denial, and just go for it. So after I went to see the dermatologist, our first treatment was for me to start on a topical treatment. So I started on Retin-A. I had, at first, I think it was like a really low grade. It was like 0.025%. And then I slowly increased it. Like I had gotten two different prescriptions. The first one was really light, tried that out for a little bit, and then they said to increase into the next level, but I don't know off the top of my head what that was. I tried that out for 3 months. Usually that's the amount of time that they'll have you try a treatment out for, because your body needs time to adjust, right? So I tried that out for 3 months, and unfortunately nothing happened, right? My skin was just kind of dry and flaky, but my acne was still there. It was actually still getting worse. This is not included in my 5 top tips, but just a side tip, bonus tip, don't pick at your face. I became so obsessed with picking at every little, like even something that looked like it was gonna be a pimple, I was picking at it, and don't do it. It's just not worth it. I have skin that will scar really easily. Like you end up making this whole situation so much worse, because then you just get scabs and then scarring, and then you have a whole other mess that you have to deal with. So bonus tip right there, don't pick your face. So back to, I had used Retin-A for 3 months, nothing happened. My skin was just like flaking off, but my acne was still there, full force. So went back to the dermatologist, and then we decided to try something in addition to my Retin-A treatment. So I was put on spironolactone is how you pronounce it, I think, hopefully. Don't quote me on that. I was put on this pill that was also supposed to help with acne, and I tried that out in addition to my Retin-A for 3 months, and we were still in the same boat. Nothing really happened. I was still just having dry, flaky skin from the Retin-A, and spironolactone just made me really thirsty and have to go to the bathroom a lot. Just put it that way. So there was nothing that was happening there, and I was getting really frustrated. I had spent, at this point, 6 months of my life trying all these different treatments, and really nothing was happening. Absolutely nothing. So finally I went back to the dermatologist a 3rd time, and that is when the dermatologist said he felt comfortable finally prescribing me Accutane. So that's where my journey begins. Still a long road ahead, which I didn't know at the time, but that does bring me into tip number 2, and that is learn to be patient. If you're watching this video because you're currently dealing with acne, you're trying to investigate and see if Accutane is something for you, I want to first say I'm really sorry. I know how how defeated you can feel having to constantly deal with this issue every morning, all the time, trying out a whole bunch of different things, being hopeful that maybe this magic product will be the one that works for me. I'm really sorry that you're having to go through this, but I want to say that patience is a learned virtue, and when you're starting off on a journey, you finally made that decision that this is something that I want to do, it's not going to be an overnight thing. So learning to be patient, I know that that's always been something really difficult for me. That's not something that just comes by nature to me. So I want to say that that's a tip that to keep in mind. If you're going to want to start Accutane, understand that this is a process that's going to take months. Your poor body is having to go through this whole new change, and be understanding of that. Be understanding. Don't hope that it's going to be an overnight thing, because it won't be. I can understand how difficult it can be, and how you get to this point where you really honestly just lose hope. Like, you feel like there's just nothing in the world that's going to be able to fix your problem. But I'd like to share a verse with you guys from the Bible, and it's found in Romans 12:12, and it says this: "Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer." This verse really helped me because it kind of instills in us that we need to be thankful for all of the good things that we have in life all the time. Even if we're going through pain, even if there's something that's causing us suffering in our heart, it's important to try to be happy, see all of the other positive things that there are in life, but also be faithful in prayer. God listens to us. If we reach out to him, he listens to us. So we need to be patient. Be patient and trust his timing of when things are going to happen, and that his timing is perfect, right? So when he decides that it's the right time and it's going to have a positive outlook at the end, trust his timing. Hope you enjoy that verse. I encourage you to read the entire chapter of Romans 12 and let me know what you guys think about it. Okay, so going back to my timeline, I finally got the green light to start Accutane, right? So I was super excited, but also at the same time really nervous, right? So this brings me to tip number 3: do your research, and do more research, and then continue to do more research. Really can't instill how important it is for you to take the time to research about any sort of medication that you're ever going to be taking. You know, Accutane, as I was doing my research, I realized is a really, really strong drug. Okay, it causes crazy side effects. It could have really detrimental side effects if you are looking to have a child in any time in the near future, because it has a whole bunch of different side effects that could cause birth defects. I can't reiterate enough how important it is for you to do your research so that you can understand how long it's going to take, so you can understand what the symptoms are going to be, and if it's something that you actually want to endure for 6+ months. Are we willing to wait that long? You are only going to find out about this during your research. It's never good to just go headfirst into any situation. You really want to think about it and decide if it's something that you're going to be able to handle. So at this point, I had waited 6 months already, trying out other things. I was like, might as well. I've heard good things about the results that Accutane does. I've heard about the bad side of Accutane, which is all the side effects and issues that it causes. So I was like, at this point, let's just go for it. So this is officially where my Accutane story begins. So before I even got my prescription for the drug, there is a waiting period, and at first I was a little taken aback by this, because I was like, what do you mean I have to wait months before I can even start taking the pill? I want to do this now. But remember tip number 2? Be patient. Yeah, this is where it really starts to come in. So before you can even start Accutane, you have to wait for a couple of blood tests to come back, one of which, if you're a woman, is a pregnancy test. What ended up happening for me was that the dermatologist had asked me when my last period was, and I told them. I ended up having to wait 2 months after that doctor's appointment, and I took 2 pregnancy tests in that time period, had to take a pledge that I would always use 2 types of birth control if I was involved in sexual activity, and I also had to take quizzes online in this program that they have that basically quizzes you about birth control and effects of the pill and things like that. So there's a lot of work that you have to put in to even start Accutane, right? So just that's something that you need to keep in mind when you're starting your journey, that it's probably going to take a little bit for you to even start, especially if you're a woman. So yay. Okay, so finally I got prescribed my Accutane. So actually, I think Accutane isn't used in the US. Don't quote me on that. I got prescribed a pill called Clavaris, which is the same thing as Accutane, I think. So that brings me in to tip number 4. Before you start Accutane, make sure that you prepare. So you've done all of your research, right, from tip number 3, and now it's time for you to prepare. Remember about the ugly side effects that I said Accutane can cause? Well, one of them is really awful dry skin. Yep, really dry skin. So before you even start Accutane, you want to make sure that you are prepared at home with all of the essential things that you are gonna need to be able to hopefully help your body out when dealing with all of these side effects. So for example, I went out and bought a whole bunch of different skincare lotions and moisturizers and chapsticks and lip products that would help my body out. I knew that my body was gonna dry out a lot, so I made sure to prepare before I started to go on Accutane, that I had all of the things in my house ready to go for that first day that I was going to start. So at this point, I was prescribed 40 milligrams of Clavaris, so that was 1 pill a day, and I was only given a 1 month supply of this. So I took my pill religiously every single day, and this was a little while ago, but from what I can remember, I didn't have too many side effects. I think mostly this was because I was prepared, right? So I was drinking lots of water to keep my body hydrated. I was moisturizing my skin like crazy, making sure that I had chapstick everywhere and anywhere that I would need it on me at all times. So in the first month, didn't really have that many bad side effects, which I was really happy about. So I was ready to start month 2, and then there was a world pandemic. I got a phone call from my dermatologist, and it kind of shattered my world, I'm not gonna lie. He called me to let me know that because of the pandemic, I was no longer going to be able to continue my Accutane treatment, because they were going to basically close down the labs and not take any patients or do any kind of work that wasn't necessary or extremely important. So you guys, this was so hard for me. I'm not gonna lie, I was so upset. It shattered my world. I was so excited to finally start month 2. I was like counting down the days, and then I got that phone call, and I was like, maybe this isn't meant to be. Like, what is going on? The world is out to get me. It's against me. Everything's happening. I was really selfish at that time. It's kind of embarrassing to look back at it now and think about all of the thoughts that I kind of went through and how selfish I was, because really there were people that were literally dying. There were people that were putting their lives at risk to be able to help others, all the nurses, all the doctors. I'm just like, I can't believe that I let it get to me. I'm really embarrassed, but I'm being completely honest with you guys, that's what I felt at the time. Luckily, I snapped at it really quickly. I dealt with acne for months, and I can continue to deal with it until hopefully the pandemic goes by quickly. hasn't yet, and then I'd be able to start my treatment again. So then that brings me to tip number 5, and that is don't ever give up. Eventually, a couple of months later, I got my phone call from my dermatologist that the hospital decided to open back up a little bit, so I could restart my treatment, and thank you, Jesus, is all I can say. Because I had been on Accutane for a month and then gone off, my face was also starting to go crazy again. So I was really excited when I got that phone call, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna be able to start again. Unfortunately, because it'd been a couple of months since my treatment, I would have to be patient again and restart my waiting period for getting my labs done for the pregnancy test, and then I'd have to sign up again for the iPledge program, take the quizzes again, all of that fun stuff. But I didn't feel like it was that bad this time, right, since I've already been through it, and I was just so excited to get started again. So the dermatologist this time around decided to prescribe me 80 milligrams of Cliveris, which doubled my dose from before, and I'm just now finishing up my first month. It's been good so far. I'm definitely noticing some more side effects this time around, so I hopefully soon will be putting up a 1-month update video for you guys so that I can tell you things that I've been doing that have been working for me, kind of the side effects that I've been dealing with, how I'm attacking that, and all that fun stuff. So make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you will be able to receive a notification of that video. But I just wanted to go back to my last tip about not giving up. This is a really hard topic for me because I've always in the past been one to kind of give up if something becomes too difficult for me, or if I get scared and I'm fearful of failing. I've been one to just been like, oh, it's not meant to be, I'll just walk away. I've really learned the hard way through life that life isn't meant to be easy, and you need to find the strength to be able to work through your issues and never give up. Just continue. If it's something that you really want and you feel deep in your heart that it's going to be good for you and it's going to help you, then you need to persevere and just work through your doubts and be hopeful that things are just going to work out in the end. So I have another verse for you guys from the Bible that I would love to share with you, and that's found in Philippians 4:13, and it says, I can do all things through him who gives me strength. This verse is really, really special to me because it's a good reminder that sometimes we can get caught up in all of the negative things that are going on in the world, all of the negative things that are happening to us, but we forget that God in his word wrote that we can accomplish anything and everything as long as we look to him for the strength to be able to deal with those problems. So it's a good reminder that God wants the best for us always, and he will give us the strength to be able to deal with our problems. We just have to look to him and be strong and courageous and be hopeful that he knows what's best for us, and we'll be able to get through this. Okay, you guys, so I hope that you enjoyed these 5 tips that I had for you, and I hope you enjoyed the 2 verses that I shared with you guys today. Let me know, what are verses that you read that really talk to your soul when you're going through difficult times? Let me know in the comments below. I look forward to being able to come back to you guys with future updates. We'll be uploading more videos about my Accutane journey. I'm hoping to do monthly updates, and also if you guys are interested, maybe like skincare routine and all of the trials and tribulations that I'm going through with this journey. But like I said, I'm at the end of month 1, so that's super exciting to be able to finally check off that first month and get started on the next ones. So I hope you guys have an amazing, wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I'd never really experimented having to deal. My cat just hit the camera. Okay. Shh. the spironolactone wasn't really doing anything besides like making me go to the bathroom really badly. Like I needed to constantly go. Maybe that's TMI.